Hey Chloe, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. So I hear you are doing a report on unicorns. No, I could have swore I heard unicorns.
Dog.
Dogs, so we're going to learn about dogs today?
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about wild dogs or pet dogs?
Pet dog.
Pet dogs. So what do you want to know about pet dogs?
Are they allowed on the beach?
That's a really good question. So there are places on a lot of different beaches around here where you can bring dogs. There's even a dog beach very close to here. And right in front of the resort you could have dogs. But if you go down a little further north where there is a park, we've been there before in my other videos looking for the gopher tortoises, you can't go there with a dog because there are protected animals.
No pets allowed.
Or endangered animals. Do you know what endangered animals are?
No.
So endangered animals are animals that there's not very many of left. So we have to do special things to protect them. And one of the things we do is keep dogs and cats and other things like that away. So do you want to go try to find some of them?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So we are now at Bowditch Park, or Bowditch Point, here on the north end of Fort Myers. And this is where you cannot have dogs.
No pets allowed.
Dogs. Even if they're on a leash, you're not allowed to have dogs here.
Why are dogs not allowed on the beach?
So dogs aren't allowed down here because this is where the sea turtles and the gopher tortoises that live up on land, they will come to lay their babies. So sea turtles come way out of the water down there. And the mommy sea turtles will come to the same beach that they were born at, and they come all the way up on the beach. But do you think they make any signs that they were here? Do they leave tracks or anything?
No.
Well, they leave a belly print, and when their belly rubs on the ground, they leave a smell. And what do dogs like to do the most? They smell things. That's one way that they see their whole world. And when the sea turtles dig deep down into the sand, they lay their eggs and then they bury them up. But do you think the dogs can smell those eggs in there?
No.
They do. Even though they're buried about 1 foot deep, those dogs can still smell there. And what do you think they'll do to try to get to them?
Dig.
They'll dig. Do you want to dig like a dog real quick? Dig. No sea turtle eggs. So no sea turtles yet. We're still in February. The sea turtles usually won't come up until later in April or March. But that doesn't mean the dogs aren't still going to be in here, either leaving a lot of poop behind, because they'll poop in the area, which can spread diseases, or they can still be eating a lot of the other native animals. Do you want to go try to find some gopher tortoises?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on our way to the park, we found a jellyfish here on the beach. Now these jellyfish are about 99% water, and they're all over. Some jellyfish can sting you, not all of them will, but it's still something to be aware of while you're on the beach. What do you think, Chloe?
Cool.
Cool, huh? Do you have any questions about the jellyfish? Can jellyfish hurt dogs? Well, yeah, jellyfish and a lot of other marine animals that wash up could be a hazard to dogs or be dangerous to them. So if you're walking your dog on the beach, you want to be very careful to make sure the dog doesn't sniff. Any of the tentacles of a jellyfish can burn and sting dogs and people really, really, really bad. So if there was a dog walking through here and he put his nose in the middle there, do you think he would get hurt? Yeah, that would not feel good for the poor dog. So you have to be really careful, and it's not just jellyfish that can be a danger. All right, let's go find those tortoises. So this is a gopher tortoise. Well, so the gopher tortoises, you know what doesn't bother them too much? Is the sounds up here. But if you stomp your feet, they feel the stomping your feet, and that can scare them. You know what else they do really well, just like a dog does? They can smell really good. Do you want to turn just a little bit so your friends can see you? So we found a gopher tortoise burrow. These burrows can go up to 50 feet deep, and they can dig 9 feet in one day. You think he's trying to sleep? I think he's trying to come out and get some food. When dogs come here, they could smell these tortoises because these tortoises are a keystone species. That means other animals depend on these tortoises. So not just tortoises live in the burrows, but mice and even owls here in Florida. We have a burrowing owl that digs in the burrows with the tortoises. There can be snakes. There can be over 300 other animals that live with these tortoises. And do you think those animals give off a smell? Yeah, and what do you think smells them if they're at the park?
A dog.
A dog. So
No pets allowed!
we can't have dogs here because these tortoises are so important. If dogs were always digging in their home, what do you think the tortoises would do?
Bite them.
The tortoises might bite them to defend themselves, but if they were always being bothered, do you think they would stay here very long? No, they wouldn't stay here very long at all. So we want to keep the tortoises here. So that's another reason we don't let dogs here at the park.
Well, how do tortoises sniff?
How do tortoises sniff? Well, here, come over here if you're going to ask me questions so everybody can see when you're talking. Because like you said, we want to be quiet so we don't scare the tortoise. But yes, why do tortoises sniff? Well, how do you sniff? Just like that. Tortoises do the same thing.
But where's their nose?
It's right at the tip of their head. So if this is a tortoise head, the eye is here, another eye is here, and they have two nostrils for their nose right at the front, and they can smell there. Yeah, and then their ears are on the sides of their head.
Where you can't see. Because I have a book about tortoise and turtles.
Yeah.
And their ears are covering so you can't see them.
So you can't see them. They don't have protruding ears. Exactly. What else? What was your other question?
So why can't dogs like be around you where no pets allowed? Where tortoises live and why can't they like dig here and make their own barrel?
Well, when dogs are around, are dogs from Florida?
No.
No, there used to be wolves here, believe it or not, and there are coyotes, but those animals are kind of long gone, and they used to have a big space to roam in. But now, is this park take up the whole island?
No.
No, it's just a little part of the island. So we can't have big predators like that disturbing the tortoises. Before all the people moved in here, all these tortoises had all this space to themselves, and they could share it with the coyotes and wolves and other animals that lived here. But now there's only about 10 tortoises here at this part of the park. So if we brought dogs here, they wouldn't have anywhere to go, because can tortoises swim? No. And they can't get off the island, so they wouldn't have anywhere to go. So we need to protect them and keep the dogs away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Like the jellyfish.
Like the jellyfish and all the other things that might be a danger. Yeah. All right, so we have spent the morning looking for all kinds of different cool things here to answer Chloe's questions, so we could find all about what dogs' effect is here on Fort Myers and Estero Island. Speaking of Estero Island, that's the island that we have been on. Chloe has been here for her vacation, and Fort Myers Beach is the city on Estero Island. We have been exploring the north end down here at Bowditch Point, and that's where these gopher tortoises are, but they are all over Florida, but everywhere in Florida they are a protected species. So is there any other questions you have for me about your tortoises or the dogs for your project?
No.
What?
Can dogs come here with owners? No pets allowed!
So even if they're on a leash with their owner, dogs cannot come here, no. Because even leash dogs can still dig, and they can smell things, and they'll dig up all the tortoise eggs or sea turtle eggs, and they could still be a danger. So in this whole park, we can't bring dogs here. But there is a dog park further down on the next island called Lover's Key. There is a dog park down there, and it's just for dogs, where the dogs can take off the leash, and they can play in the water and in the sand. But we don't even let wild or stray dogs here because they could still be a danger. She was asking me a little earlier about wild dogs coming here, and I told Chloe that they can't be here because they're even more of a danger, looking for food because they don't have someone who loves them to feed them. So we'll try to capture them, get them to a humane society where they can be taken, and hopefully find a home where they can be taken care of. So very cool. Anything else I can answer for you or your class? All right. What was your teacher's name?
Miss Loftus and Miss Cackle, Miss Joseph, and Miss Will.
That's a lot of teachers. You must be learning a whole lot. Well, do you want to say goodbye to your class?
Bye!
Bye. Thank you. You are awesome. Thank you so much. You're so cool. Oh, thank you very much. You want to go see what else you can find on the way back?
Yeah.
Let's go.
We might see the same tortoises.
I hope so.